It is not a stereotype if it's absolutely true. And I'm talking about you French people over in France. I turned to my long-suffering wife, Marie. Hi, honey.
Hi.
Now, we went to Paris, France, and this was all your idea, by the way.
It was, because I had gone previous, like when I was in college,
right
when I got out of college.
Yeah.
And I've always wanted to take you.
Aww.
So I'm glad we got to go.
I've been to France before, but only to the airport to make a connection. Thanks, Charles de Gaulle. I got lost again.
All things must go through Charles de Gaulle.
Right? But here's what happened. So we say, let's go to Paris, France. Let's have some fun. I'm going to ask you a couple questions about it, because when I talk about stereotypes, everything you think about Paris is absolutely true, even if you haven't gone. Like, number one, all French people sit around and drink coffee at cafes that are open to the streets. Yes or no?
We.
Oh, no, we're French. Question numero two. Every time a French person buys groceries, you see them walking down the street, they have one of those loaves of French bread sticking out of the top of the bag.
A loaf of French bread, or what some would call a baguette.
Oh, ooh.
Oui.
Yes, yeah. And number three, final question, bonus round.
Okay.
It is truly the city of lights and the city of love.
Oui.
It is all amore over there. We had such a good time in Paris. We're going to tell you about it when we come back. That's Marie over there.
That's Frank.
Voca Vacay starts right now.
Prepare yourself for the bestest, amazingest, and overall super duperest travel program in the history of ever. Vacation like it's your job and live vicariously through yourself. It's time now for Voca Vacay.
Oh, yes. You know, it's one of those amazing things when you go to another country and you go to a city, it's like, oh, it's so brand new and fresh and all that stuff.
I love it.
A couple things before we kick off this special edition of Voca Vacay. As always, every single time we start off a show, we tell you about the new countries that have joined our global, ever-expanding global sandbox that is Voca Vacay.
Yes.
Yeah, 3 new countries. Oman.
Oh, my gosh.
Italy.
No, stop.
Italy, we've been to you like 1,000 times. Come on,
I
represent.
know. Where have you been?
And Hong Kong.
Oh, wow.
Oh, we're huge in Hong Kong.
Oh, I love it.
Most likely. But anyway.
Welcome, friends.
All you people from Oman, Italy, and Hong Kong, welcome, because we're talking about Paris, France.
Yes.
And before we get into Paris, and we did so much over there, it is a 2-part episode.
Yes.
Because we got a lot of stuff and a lot of real estate to cover here. Marie, want to talk about some housekeeping items, because there are some things that we've just got to bring you up to speed on, because you haven't seen us in a little while.
It's been a hot minute.
Yeah.
Actually, it wouldn't have been a minute that was hot. It's been so long. It's been a minute. But no, like you said, this is going to be a twofer.
Yes.
So we're going to release both of these at the same time.
Yes.
So if you're not incredibly, if you're just really jonesing for more French goodness,
we got you, boo.
we got you, boo-boo.
We got you, boo.
You can watch the second one after the first one, because it's been a minute since we were on, and I feel really bad about that. We've had some life changes.
Well, let's explain what's going on here.
Okay, I got a promotion.
Yay!
So now at work, I have more responsibilities.
Yeah.
So I'm the interim chair now of my department. And so that happened. And it happened it was a whirlwind.
It was a whirlwind. It's
And
exciting.
So that happened. We went on a study abroad.
Yes.
So we're going to talk about where we went and what we did on that after these episodes.
Yes,
And we get these out.
Yes.
Yeah. And you went and you did a really good deed.
Yes.
You went and you filmed. Will you talk about it? You tell them what you did.
Well, basically, I went over to, we all know there's the war in Ukraine is going on.
Yeah.
And this directly impacts not just people, obviously, but entire households, including puppies and kitties.
Pets.
And so the thought was, hey, what about spotlighting the people, the veterinarians, and the pet care providers that are over there trying to help out? So I went over there.
You did. You went with Dr. Marty Becker.
Yes.
Who is a mainstay of the veterinary community. He's been in the biz, as we like to call it.
The biz.
In the biz. For a long time. He was on Good Morning America. He's had a huge, long career. You were he asked if you wanted to come over and do some filming.
Yeah.
And so that's a really cool thing.
Yes.
And you're turning that into a short documentary.
And there'll be a short documentary called Saving Mishka, and that is going to come out later on this year.
Yeah.
Probably October is what we're thinking.
Yeah.
November at the latest, probably October. So it's like, and that's the thing is like, look, you don't just whip out Voca Vacay episodes without actually going to the place. So we have to go to places. Take time to do that. And number 2, we got to find the money to pay for these trips.
So we have to, I work hard for the money.
Listen, none of this is subsidized. As we told you before, we don't accept pay layouts, free hotels, free from anybody.
No, we don't.
We pay the full rate.
Yeah, yeah.
And we're very adamant about that.
So if you're from a production company that finds us incredibly witty and charming,
and you should,
then you should give us an engineer.
Darn right.
We'd go much faster that way.
Give us an engineer, because otherwise, if you're watching this on YouTube right now, hey, here's camera 2, here's camera 3, there's Marie, there's camera 1, and by the way, yes, I'm switching these to my left hand, and she's running the audio board. That being said, let's talk about Paris.
Let's talk about Paris, but first, shout out to Josh Gibson, who gave us some pointers and said, you know what?
Oh, yeah.
You should get some, he wants us to like put blue gels on our lights.
Yes.
That's coming next. We've been trying to get this like
on our windows
on
behind
our windows. Did I say our lights on our windows?
Yeah.
We've been trying to get the cameras right. We might be getting some new cameras, maybe. I don't know. We're always tweaking this thing. I said I wanted to come to y'all in 4K.
Yeah.
4K. I don't know if it actually is. We're doing our best.
Yeah, we are.
This is just us doing our best. So welcome to our world. Now let's talk about Paris. I'm ready to talk about something fun.
We're 2 levels above an Etch-a-Sketch, so just kind of roll with it, people. It's absolutely fine. Okay, so here's what happened. We go to Paris, and before, I've been to Paris only through Charles de Gaulle Airport. Right. Absolute nightmare every single time. And you have been there before because in your ute, you decided to go there and do like a backpacking trip, and basically you were not slumming it. That's not the collegiate word to use, but you were on a low budget.
I was on a budget. I was on a backpacker's budget.
Yes,
backpacking
that's fair.
is a thing. And even if you have like a lot of money, some people prefer to backpack just because you're more mobile.
Yeah. Yeah.
Anyway, it was fun. A lot of students do it after college. That's when I did it. And I fell in love with Paris, and I really wanted to go back I wanted to take you because I wanted a do-over.
Yes.
I wanted to have it proper with the person that is the love of my life in the city of lights and love and romance. So it was very nice.
So we went, and it was a great time. So here's how this works out. Okay. So we're flying Delta Airlines. Shout out to you guys. You've never given us a free ticket, but whatever. So we fly Delta, and we're leaving out of Nashville. A couple things about Nashville very quick. Hey, good job on the new airport lounge. Thanks, guys.
The new airport lounge in Nashville is fantastic. It is so
good. The Delta
good.
Sky Club in Nashville, I am shoving more Rice Krispie treats down my gullet than you can count. We connect through Atlanta, and here, we actually screwed up on this trip. Because every time we fly on Delta, what you should do in advance is you ought to tell the people at Delta, hey, you know what?
That's right.
I want a special meal. And you can go on in advance and say, I want something that's vegan. I want something that's bland. Why you would want that? I want something that is like Asian or something. Yeah.
Like, or whatever. Like, yeah. So you can request these on the long haul flights because you get a meal.
Yeah.
And here's another, like a little tip. Request these because they bring them out first.
Yes, you get served first. So by the time all the other schlumps are going, oh yeah, here's you want the chicken or the pasta? Yawn. You're already like, I'm eating falafel, la 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 la, and it's good.
That's because, and here's another tip, pro tip. If you do request these, they come out first, but also on the flight between the regular meals, it's always going to be like a pasta, a chicken, and some sort of salad.
Yeah.
And by the time they get to row 57,
they get the back.
The chicken and pasta are going to be gone.
Yeah.
So it's like, okay,
you're
here's
getting
what
the
you
salad
get.
there, Scooter.
Yeah.
So anyway, we didn't request a meal,
right?
But it was okay. So we muddled on through that. We get to Charles de Gaulle. We're about 20 minutes late, and I only point this out because normally we have to make a connection there, which means we're trying to run off the plane. We would have missed it, whatever. No, we're just landing at Charles de Gaulle,
right?
Which is great. We get there. Your bag's late.
God.
Or we had one suitcase basically, or two, but it's like we packed minimally, but there's a late bag.
I know there's a pilot shortage and there's some issues right now with flying and travel.
Sure.
But man, we've had a few difficulties just like everybody has had. And this was one of them. We've never lost a bag. I mean, I've lost a bag maybe twice.
Yeah, it's a rarity.
30 years.
We fly a lot, so it's not like the bags ever just go away.
Yeah.
But it's like, come on, our bag is late here? Okay.
I thought it was missing, but it was only late, so it was fine.
So,
but we did stand there at the carousel for like ever.
She stands at the carousel. I go ahead and I go to the ATM. I get a couple of €100. Life is good.
Yeah.
And pro tip, go ahead and get the euros in a big chunk. Don't get 20 euros a day because the bank ATM fees, if you have to pay those, they'll kill you with repetition.
Right.
Now we get the car.
Okay.
And now we're going.
Okay.
Give me the deets.
I'll give you the deets.
Because now we're like in vacation mode. All is well.
Yeah. So everything's good. We got a little bit of cash. We've got a car. We're going there. First thing you got to know about France, though.
Yeah.
Everyone in this damn country goes on spring break simultaneously.
This was such a pain.
This and it impacts the entire trip. So as I'm going to see me roll my eyes really hard about spring break nonsense, here's what happens. France, if you didn't know, is divided into 3 zones: 1, 2, and 3, or as they say over there, un, deux, and 3. So here's what happens.
Yeah.
The whole country, not just the universities, not just the schools,
right.
not just the students. Everyone goes on vacation in spring for like a week. And it's like, okay, the northern part goes during this time, the middle part goes this time, south part goes during this time.
Right.
We were unaware of this.
we were about like this about it.
We get into Paris, and you cannot comprehend just how large Paris is.
Oh my gosh.
Paris is bigger than you think. It really
sure.
is. Paris is one of those cities like, oh my God, it keeps going and going and going. So we wind up going there, and it's like, why are there so many people?
Yeah.
Turns out, we're there for the first wave of spring break.
Yeah.
Which means they've shut down banks, hospitals, pharmacies, medical, everything. Everybody just goes on vacation.
I'm like, that's why this ticket was so cost efficient.
Yeah. Because everybody's like, you want to go to France now? You kidding me? It's going to be packed.
Oh,
and it was. So we say, okay. We decide to go there. The good news is that this is Marie's trip. I will give credit where credit is due.
Thank
She
you.
booked everything. You found an Airbnb in the precise location where we would not blend at all. We would not.
He says, I'll give you credit where credit is due. And then he's like, and this was maybe a fail.
No. I did not say that.
We might not have blended, but it was a good location.
The location, the Airbnb was located. Can we say where it was?
Yeah.
It is.
For sure. I've got it.
Okay. It's 320.
It's 320 Rue Saint Honoré.
Yeah.
And it's a really lovely street. And what he's getting at is I put us in a place surrounded by all the fancy shops.
Yeah.
So there's Gucci, Hermes, Louis Vuitton, like all the things. And I'm like, whoa. This is a nice place.
So there's a whole bunch of very elegant, very rich, and very sexy French people walking around all the time. I'm like, I'm trying to suck in my gut and look French going, yes, it's like when you go to like the Swedish airport and everybody like tall and thin and gorgeous. And I'm doing the old, you've got to be kidding me. Is this what people look like over here all the time?
Oh my God.
Tons of rich French people are running around.
Now,
a lot of people are just going all over the place.
Oh, and it's just like so much good shopping. It was a great place. Natalia was the host. I got it on Airbnb. So if you look this up, it's got that sort of like cave dwelling sort of atmosphere.
Yeah.
So it's just a studio, and it was like a bed on a platform, and then you had a little like sitting area living room with a tiny little kitchen in it. It was so cute. It was adorable.
It was really good. And the first pro tip, first thing whenever you get someplace is find the nearby grocery store, which we did.
Yes.
We went to the nearby grocery store, and we also went to a nearby pharmacy, and we found out where it was for a simple reason. This was still in the era when COVID negative tests were required before you came back into the United States.
Yes. So this was April of 22 is when we went.
Yeah. So we're a little bit behind the times here. It's like, because we're taping this a couple months later, but the reality is it was still COVID era with testing requirements back then. Yeah. So we got to find the store. We got to find the pharmacy. Okay. So we do that. And it's like, this is so good. We get a couple of snacks. Life is good. Let's take a nap.
Yeah. We had jet lag.
Yeah.
And this was a week packed full of Parisian goodness and just like excursions.
Yes.
Because I really wanted to do everything I did over with you and maybe some new things.
Yeah.
So we jam-packed the week full of stuff.
So what happens is that we have this great location. We're a block away from the Louvre.
Yes.
And we are in the first, you got to say this word for me.
Arrondissement.
Really?
I guess. Oh, and let me just say, I'm going to butcher most of our French words on here.
Absolutely.
So even if that one's wrong, sorry, but I think that one's right.
Arrondissement.
Paris is separated into areas.
Yes.
That okay, so how people came and settled in the area and what areas were built up when, so it went sequentially. So they're arrondissements. So it's like 1, 2, 3, 4.
Right.
And so and it's not in like it's in a pattern, but some parts of it are not quite in a pattern because again, it happened like how people came and like settled and built that area up. So sometimes you would see like, you would think 5 comes before 6, but 6 would be over somewhere else. Well, that's because that's
That's
there
where it was built up next. And it's
Yeah.
like, okay, in sequential order. So we're in Air Dismount number 1, the first one.
Yes.
We're a block. And this is so important. This is so important that we tell you this right now. We're 1 block from the Louvre.
Yes.
We planned this to be 1 block from the Louvre.
Yes.
Okay. That will come into play later on.
Yes, it certainly
Where
will.
suddenly it's like, well, that didn't work out for us at all.
Yeah.
So it's like, okay, so we're in the area. We do this, and there's Louis Vuitton, there's Valentino, there's Dior, there's all these famous places. Like, this is lovely. We crash out for 90 minutes, and 90 minutes only, because we decided to hit the ground running.
Yes.
Can't waste a day over there.
Nope.
There is an opera.
Yes.
You know how I feel about opera.
No, I don't actually.
Which is kind of like, okay.
Yeah.
But if it's something that is fancy, where it's like, oh, there's an opera. Okay. In Paris. Okay, now I can be talked into this.
I'm all about culture.
I'm totally about culture. I'm cultured like buttermilk on this one. I'm like, you know what? I would totally do this. So she's like, we're going to go see an opera.
Yes.
I'm like, cool. So this is really our first taste of realizing how busy it is there.
Oh,
we
gosh.
call an Uber. And by the way, this is the episode of Uber.
Oh, yeah. Well, this is the week of Ubers.
Yes.
We primarily used Uber.
All over the place.
Yeah, because we were trying to get a lot done in a short amount of time. We were also there because we did have one engagement, which we'll talk about later.
Yes.
That we needed to be at, and it was kind of spread out on certain days and times.
Yes.
And so instead of using public transportation like we normally would, we ended up Ubering everywhere.
Yes.
Which was actually, all in all, okay.
It was okay for the most part. We
Yeah.
had a couple of bad episodes, but mostly pretty good. The one best Uber ride we had,
Yes.
I'm going to give a shout out to you, Owen, if you're listening in Paris. There's a Paris Uber driver. His name is Owen.
Yes.
Owen. This guy is driving like, I don't want to say a maniac, because that's just the wrong way to put that. But Owen is one of these guys, and he is going around. There's bus lanes, there's bicycle lanes, there's sidewalks. Doesn't matter to Owen. We are going to get to the opera on time, damn it. And he's just, he's like all over the place. And
Yeah.
he was so good and so professional. And yeah, thanks, Owen.
He was great.
He really was great. So it's like, and we dressed up nice.
We did.
We
Got fancy.
I don't take suits when I travel.
I mean, I know we were near Gucci and Cartier. We didn't get that nice.
So, but still, so we don't quite blend, but we're trying. We're like the Walmart version of blending in with the higher up folks. But here's what happens. We go there. I'm wearing a suit and tie.
Yeah.
You look awesome, by the way.
Thank you. I
Per
had on
use.
a proper evening gown.
Yeah. And so we're in this, we're in the traffic nightmare. And it's like 2 lanes become 5. By the way, I don't think they do stripes on their roads. I think lanes are just an option, because it'll be like 5 wide, then 2, then 1, then 6, then 8, then 3, and a roundabout.
They have them, but I think they're more of a suggestion than, something you actually follow.
Yeah, they advise, and the little mopeds and scooters are all over. Flying monkeys, Wizard of Oz. It's a nightmare. Here we go. So what we do is we say, okay, we're going to go to this opera, and Owen's whipping us around. We get there.
Yeah.
We go to the opera. Now, let's explain that operas, there are multiple choices in the city of Paris. There really are.
Yes.
It turns out there's one called the National Operas of Paris, the Palais Garnier.
The Palais Garnier.
See, I can't even do that. And I'm reading it.
I think that's right.
It was
I don't
booked.
know.
It was booked. We couldn't get there.
Yeah.
But we did go to Bastille Opera.
The Opera de Bastille.
And it's in the 11th.
Arrondissement.
God, you're so good at that word.
Yeah, but even I might be butchering it. But anyway, listen, there's the ballet and the opera.
Mm-hmm.
And the Palais Garnier is the more historic building from what I understand.
Yes.
I mean, everything in Paris is historic.
Oh,
if
yeah.
you really think about it. I mean, but anyway.
It's been here longer than we've been.
But yeah, so that was the one that we could get based on our schedule, and it was fantastic.
Yeah. So we went to see, it was Cinderella, basically.
It was Cinderella. I think they pronounced it Cendrillon.
Cendrillon. Oui.
And it was this really sort of like, it was a new take on it.
Mm-hmm.
And it was fantastic. There's so many things that were just different about it. It was a little more abstract. The use of lighting was really interesting, and the production design, just the whole like production on the stage was just super interesting. You couldn't film anything.
No.
You couldn't take any pictures.
No.
But the really cool thing that you wanted to talk about was how they had the French dialogue in English.
Yeah, what they did, and this is nice. So thanks, France, for this. I mean, between this, the Statue of Liberty, you guys have really taken care of us. Turns out what they did was they said, hey, not everybody here is going to keep up with this. So it was like, how do I explain this? When you're looking at the stage, up above it, they had it's like an airport monitor thing.
Yeah.
And it basically said, here's the translation. Here's French. Here's English.
It was great.
You can read along. So they're like, and it's like,
yeah,
I'm going to go to this room or something like that. It's like,
Right.
Je m'appelle Joey. It's like, oh my gosh, this is wonderful. So
Yeah.
I could actually keep up with it. And something else that really floored me was how packed the venue was.
yeah.
Because this is a large place with
Yeah.
thousands of seats. I don't think there are any empty seats.
Yeah.
People of all ages. This shows you. So I was talking about opera. Yeah, I don't know if I want to go to Bob's Opera House in Macon, Georgia. Nothing against Macon, Georgia Opera House. I'm sure it's wonderful. But when you say go to the one in Paris,
Right.
everyone in Paris is going to this thing.
It was an outing. And also this one, the reviews, like they had already had some reviews because it had been playing for, this wasn't its opening night or anything.
Sure.
But anyway, they did more traditional opera where they did have like males playing female roles and females playing male roles. I mean, it was really like they used all of the old school sort of like costumes and hair pieces, and I mean, it was really cool.
It was very cool.
Cendrillon, an interpretation on Cinderella.
It was nice, but
it was very cool,
and it was so cool. We left at intermission.
Yeah.
And it's not it was not because of the quality.
Nope.
It was because
we were exhausted.
We were exhausted. We're still fighting the jet lag.
Yeah,
we
and
couldn't beat it.
We were overdressed.
I'm wildly overdressed.
We were overdressed and uncomfortable, and I was like really starting to feel like I cannot sit here anymore because the level of exhaustion on top of being like not very comfy wumpy.
Yeah.
I just was like, I'm about to fall out.
Yeah. Well, here's the deal. If they had shown us this opera and they gave us an option of a hammock or a beanbag, I think I could have, soldiered through the second level of this.
Right.
It turns out they're just regular seats, which was fine. We're way up there.
Yeah.
But I just couldn't do it anymore. We were tired.
I think it's okay when you go for an experience and you have to call an audible.
Yeah.
Because your health is more important.
Yeah.
But had we not been even completely overdressed, had we not been exhausted,
yeah.
the whole second act would have been amazing.
Yeah.
Because it was so good. Like it was just such a feast for the eyes.
They did a great job.
Like I was saying, it was kind of like it was like a new interpretation on the story. Some of it was a little abstract. I mean, they just had these like sets that were built that were I've never seen anything like it. Mm-hmm. It was fantastic.
They did an amazing job. And it's like, and we can say, hey, you know what? We have been to the opera in Paris, which is absolutely true.
For sure.
And when we go, the whole thing, we're just tired.
I want to go back anyway. Yeah. So like when we go back, we'll go to another show.
Okay.
Yeah.
We can do that.
Yeah, for sure.
So we come out.
Yeah.
And we say, you know what? We're hungry now.
You're not fat. You're well-rounded.
Where did that come from?
Well, we're going to talk about food, so I have to I have to get us in the mode.
I'm sitting here minding my own business. I'm feeling rather peckish right now. And it's not like you can take popcorn into the opera. They frown on that. So I'm like, okay, there's all sorts of restaurants, cafes, and inns within walking distance of this place.
Oh, there's so many places to eat in Paris. But like within walking distance of anywhere you are, you'll find some really good food. So we left and we just started walking down the street. Mm-hmm. And we just started looking at restaurants. There were a ton.
Yes, and here's the thing. Where we are based, which is in Tennessee in the United States, kind of in the middle of the country here, if you don't know. It turns out we do not have a lot of, how do we say, good Greek type food, good Mediterranean food, anything like that. We're not a port city. We're not built like that.
Yeah.
And so I'm always like, can we get like a doner kebab or can we get something like that?
Nashville has some places, but not Murfreesboro proper.
Yeah. And so it's like, well, there's some stuff here, but I want something really good. And you will indulge me every single time we go overseas to Europe. It's like, okay, you're going to get your doner kebab thing once.
Because here it's more of an American interpretation. And over there, it's way more authentic. Yes. Even like the sauces and everything. Oh, God.
So we're going to give a shout out to our guys, Floria, I believe it has said this, Florya, Floria.
Yes.
We go to the Floria kebab place.
Yeah.
Holy moly. Shout out to you guys. Seriously, we love you so much because we went there and I was like, I want the full kebab meal with the fries and the Coke and all stuff. And you got the thing, it was like on a salad or it was on a plate.
Yeah, I got
without
the plate.
wrap.
Yeah, because I was just like, I want to try and eat a little more vegetables.
Right.
And then I didn't want the wrap with the fries, so I got mine with the salad.
Yeah, and I'm like wrapping fries. I'll take the wrapping fries. So we did that, and here's the deal. That was not the only thing there, because we're overlooking the Rue de la Roquette.
Rue de la Roquette.
Oh my gosh, you're better at this than I am. So it's like, hey, you know what? Very nice, very nice. We are going to totally do this and have a great time, and there's all sorts of food. We could have done 1,000 other options. We're very happy with the kebabs, and we said, we're going to do that, and we ate, and then we went back to bed.
And went to sleep.
We were so tired.
And our flat was so amazing because since it was a traditional Parisian apartment, and because this was in a building, it wasn't like a hotel setup or a hostel. It was kind of tucked away. Like you had to walk into the building and up some stairs. Like it was in the middle and in the back on the second floor.
Yeah.
I mean, when we went to sleep, it was like sleeping.
Yeah, it's like we're not on the street. There's no road noises or anything like that. Yeah, you had to walk through like a courtyard and then down this hallway and up these stairs and around this thing. And it's like, oh yeah, we're insulated.
We were tucked in.
And of course, we're in the Louis Vuitton district of Paris, so there's not going to be any motorcycle races outside our windows. So it's good. We go to sleep.
Yes.
Next day, and I want to say we woke up and it was a Sunday.
Yes.
Yeah. So we wake up on Sunday. It's like, oh, you know what? Let's do the Paris thing. Let's walk around the Paris neighborhoods and blah blah and do our thing.
I need my proper coffee.
So we walked and we found a place, Le Rocher de. How do you say this?
Au Rocher de Cancale.
Yes.
I believe.
It was a coffee place.
It was.
And this was blocks away, by the way. This wasn't next door. We decided we're going to go hiking through Paris at this point. Well, we want to see some stuff.
We wanted to see some stuff. We walked into the second.
Okay.
And I did have my eye out for a traditional pastry, a patisserie. I really wanted to try this one that I'd heard about before. And so we kind of just went in that direction.
Yeah. And patisseries, by the way, for those of you who don't know, it's like a pastry thing, but it's really like a chocolate thing. If you want good chocolate, that's where you're going. And I have this thing in my life, given to my advanced age, I still eat chocolate, I think, every day.
You're not fat. You're well-rounded.
I don't see a correlation between me eating daily chocolate and any sort of weight gain. I really don't. But I literally, I think I eat candy every day of my life.
Yeah.
I've already eaten candy today. I'm going to have more later on.
This is why I love you.
I have to work my meals around the candy intake.
I'm glad you eat it for both of us then.
Yeah.
Because I actually don't have a sweet tooth.
Yeah.
I'm more salt and fat if I'm going to indulge.
Yeah.
But I do love a good, I just love a really good sweet treat every once in a while.
So we said,
I appreciate it. That's for sure.
You do. Absolutely.
Yeah.
And we said, okay, so we're going to go over there. We got artisan chocolates. At the, I can handle this one, the Stower, almost had that.
I believe.
The Stower Patisserie. This is the oldest location that they have in Paris. They have several, but they are one of these artisan chocolate places. Holy moly. I felt like some kind of kid in an amazing kind of store. I'm like, what is this? I go in, it's like, by the way, there was a line out the door.
There was.
And they could only take about 5, maybe 8 people in there at a time.
Now, hold on.
Small little shop.
Yes.
Yes.
But you're leaving one very important thing out.
I leave out nothing.
You left out
What?
one thing.
What?
It is Easter Sunday.
Oh, yeah.
Let's drop that bomb on everyone.
Yeah.
Bam.
So
Easter bomb.
Easter Sunday, we go.
Yeah.
There's people out. Everyone, and by the way, everyone in France looks pretty good.
Yeah.
So, and everybody's dressed up nicely. It's like, oh, you're dressed rather Natalie today.
Yeah.
So it's like, and they hit the cafe. I'm like, oh, let's get some chocolat.
Not Natalie.
We go to the shop.
I didn't even know what that word meant.
Natalie means like spiffy.
Oh.
Like Natalie. N-A-T-T-I-L-Y. Natalie.
Fantastic.
So they're dressed spiffily.
Yes.
Spiffy.
Okay.
So I was like, okay, everybody's looking good. And we go and we get these chocolates.
Yes.
It takes everything in my power to not, just get all 400 from the Euro from the ATM yesterday. Just throw it down and said, load me up with a big shopping basket. We got chocolate. We got some macarons.
Oh, macarons.
Macarons.
I love them.
So good.
See, that's my jam because they're not too sweet.
Right.
Yeah.
And I'm like, well, it's almost sweet enough for me, but yeah, I'll take a handful.
Yeah.
So we get that. We sit down. We're having the coffee at the Au Rocher de Cancale.
Might be Cancale. I don't know.
Whatever it is. And that's where I first noticed that, one, everyone's drinking coffee.
Yes.
Like you expect them to do in that stereotype. And number 2, people were walking by with baguettes sticking out of bags.
They were. That's when you noticed you were like, it's just like the movies.
It's just like the movies. Like, I'm waiting for Liam Neeson to walk by tracking people down. That's how much it felt like a movie set to me. Where people are like, you have my daughter. It's like, he's got baguettes. You see this guy over here? So anyway, it's all good. We had a wonderful time. And then we thought we should do more.
Yes.
We should do more. We found a shop to get a bottle of wine.
Yes.
And that was the, I'm not even going to try the name. It's Nicolas Monteguel. Sure.
Nicholas. Yeah. Okay. That one I'm not going to touch either. Yeah. But it was a nice little wine shop across from where we had the coffee.
Yeah.
Literally across the street.
Yeah.
I want to go back to the baguettes for just a second.
Sure.
So you have to understand that in like most other European countries, France, and like it's not like here where you go to the store and you get a loaf of bread that's been kind of like there for a day or two.
Right.
Everything is made so fresh in-house at these artisan places.
That's true.
Yeah, so that's why you see so many baguettes. So people literally get up, they have their coffee, they go to the boulangerie, they get their artisan bread, they get their pastries, they get whatever, croissant in the morning, whatever. And so that's why you see that so much.
Yeah.
I just wanted to get that in.
Well, it's just one of those things that you see bread. It's like, I never thought bread was one of those things that's like, and everyone there, here's my disconnect with bread. I've been taught in recent diet stuff that bread equals carbs equals bad. Yeah.
Right.
And the French people walking around looking like, hey, look at this. I got baguettes. Like, dude, you look great. How are you eating bread?
That's because they walk so much.
Yeah.
That was one of the reasons I wanted to take you to Paris, was because I was like, I just want to get bread, cheese, wine, maybe some olives, whatever. And I just want to tool around Paris and eat that with you.
We totally
and go
did.
see amazing things.
Totally did all the above. So we stop off, we get the bottle of wine.
Yeah.
And we also got a couple of little pastry things. I got an eclair and you got a
I got a croissant.
You got a croissant.
Yeah.
And then we said, we're going to go to this, it's a little shopping mall area. There's shopping mall stuff up top. There's some below, there's a park and all this stuff. And we found some stairs to sit down and eat on.
Yeah, the main stairs, it's a grand stair, like, it's just stairs outside. It's like a grand stairway that goes up to the mall. And it was across from a church and also an open air market and a really beautiful restaurant called Florida, which was like funny because I was like, oh, it's Florida, like in the States.
Yeah, it's like, let's get a picture of that. Why is that here again?
Yeah, but it had these beautiful red flowers on the outside. And anyway, we sat there on the steps and we ate. And it was just amazing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So that was great.
Oh, yeah.
And then we said, you know what? It's Easter Sunday.
It is.
Is that a church over there?
It is.
There's a church right there.
And they were about to have mass.
And they're about to have Easter service mass. I'm like,
we need to do that.
We've got to dip in for a hot minute.
Yeah, for sure.
So we did. And what we did is that we went over to the Ingles Saint Eustache. I cannot say this.
Ingles Saint Eustache.
Eustache Church.
For Easter Mass.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's like very cool.
Yeah.
And
it was
we went
beautiful.
We didn't stay for the whole service, but we went through, they were singing songs. And it's like, this is actually one of those wonderful things where if Easter is a big deal to you or Sunday Mass is a big deal to you, Paris has got you set.
I mean, we were there like an hour. It was so beautiful.
Yeah.
They had to bring in chairs, extra chairs for people coming in off the street. Just not even like, I mean, you could tell there were some tourists. We were very respectful. Let's talk about this for a second.
Right.
We were very respectful with not taking video and pictures. We snuck in a few pictures, not during the proper, what's it called?
Like the sermon
service.
or
Yeah. But like, because when you go into a church, there's other parts of the church.
Yeah.
So we got some pictures of the windows and whatever, but we did not take pictures of the service or during the service because it was we found it to be disrespectful. And then we found a church officiant did come over and told some people who were taking pictures to stop.
Yeah.
So just, another pro tip, like when you're in a country and you're partaking of their festivities, and especially if it's like a church or something and you're going for their service, please be respectful and know that local people go to this church. Like this is their church. And so if you're in there like documenting that, that's kind of rude.
Well, and the other thing is that not every moment in your life needs a selfie.
That's right.
When there's an Easter Mass going on, just get over your bad self.
Yeah.
You don't need to have a selfie of this. And that the official, just stop.
Yeah. Be in the moment.
Yeah.
Appreciate what you can see and experience right then and there.
Yeah. And we totally did. And it's like, and we're like very respectful coming out. It's like, thank you and all this stuff. The officiant at the door, it's like,
Yeah.
And we did that. And we came out, it's like, oh, that was just a wonderful feeling.
Yeah.
And then we're back in Paris again. I didn't mention this, but walking towards everything, went through this huge market.
Yeah, it was nice.
When you talk about fresh food.
Oh, gosh.
Here's cheese. Here's meat. Here's fishes. The fishes from wherever the fish come from, they're just lined up.
I just want to buy it all.
Yeah.
and eat it all.
So
It's amazing.
So we said this good. Now, remember the bottle of wine. Okay. Remember the bottle of wine.
Which way is the bar?
This is about to get really cool really quick.
This is the best story ever.
I've got a couple of great stories in Paris, and this is one, and they star me and Marie, but this is a me story, okay? So we say, you know what we got to do?
Yeah.
Look, and you're really big on the Eiffel Tower because, we've seen it, we've flown over, and it's like, let's go see the Eiffel Tower.
Yeah.
And let's just see perchance if we can get a tour. And we're where there's a lot of people there. We're thinking maybe it's Easter Sunday.
Yeah.
Tower's open. Let's see if we can just dip in.
I have to say this. I planned this trip with booking some things in advance and some things that we were just going to do when we got there and decided which day we were going to go.
Right.
Not knowing that all of France was on spring break.
It's spring break. Oh, for the love of God, everybody's there.
And it's like they said, like we asked about this and they were like, oh yeah, there's A, B, and C group and A goes, B goes, and C. But at one point they all blended. I'm like, what? Like,
What?
I'm just like, what is happening?
Oh my gosh. And so it's like, it's busy. So again, we get into our usual Uber thing, and the Eiffel Tower is in the 7th district. It's easier for me,
yeah,
guys.
it's
It
just
really
in
is.
the 7th.
It's in the 7th, and this is across the Seine River from the Trocadero.
Yes.
So gorgeous place.
Beautiful.
Landmarks. Eiffel Tower looks exactly like I think the Eiffel Tower looks.
It does.
It's like Mount Rushmore. It's like, hey, I went to South Dakota. That's exactly what the four heads look like. Eiffel Tower looks like Eiffel Tower. But still, there's that sense of, that's really cool.
And it's right there.
Yeah.
It's real.
It's right there. They built that thing. You get closer and closer. It's like, this is taller than I thought it was going to be.
Massive. Yeah.
It's like, wow.
So we had planned on this day, or, on the day that we were going to go. So we were like, let's go on over. We had planned on just getting the tickets there.
Yeah,
That's
no
what I
problem.
did before when I was over there before.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. Not so much.
Yeah, this is sort of like when I go to like Disney World or something like that. There's an expectation I can walk up to the door,
Right.
give them money,
And then they will let you-
and they will grant
Yes,
me entrance.
for
Is there
sure.
a problem? Did I miss something in translation here?
Nope.
I should be able to give you money,
Yes.
and you give me a ticket, and
Yes.
I just go see what I'm paying you to go see, right?
That would make sense. Not
No.
this time.
Well, au contraire, mon frere, is what I learned immediately in France. So we go there, and here's how it works. You get in line, basically. It's a security checkpoint is the first line.
Yes.
So we get in line. Here we are getting in line. And remember, you can go under the Eiffel Tower. Going up the Eiffel Tower takes tickets and money and a longer wait list. But just going and just kind of, hey, I'm going to go stand around at this place. You got to go through security checkpoint. Yeah. And there's a couple. So we went to one of them and we get in line.
Yes.
And we're in line. And we're in line. Now, by the way, I should point this out. Whenever we travel, we have these, I call them sling bags. I don't know what they're actually called.
It's a crossover bag.
It's a crossover bag. They're made out of denim, and we just carry stuff in.
Yeah.
Like, for example, a bottle of wine. Why is this a difficult concept? I'm in Paris. I'm in France. I have a bottle of wine. I bought it. No big deal. So now we're in security, and the lines, and we're like, hey, they're going through people's bags. All we want to do was sit under the Eiffel. We don't even have to go up today. If we can go up, great, bonus. But if we just get under the Eiffel Tower and drink a bottle of wine, no big deal.
Right.
Let's go.
I actually thought we would drink it and have a snack
Sure.
on the grounds before going up. But when we got there, because all of France was on vacation.
Oh, good God.
The lines were so long that then I was like, maybe we should save this for later.
Yeah.
And so I was like, oh, surely it's like not a big deal because it's not a weapon.
Yeah.
And so I was like, we'll just get in line and we'll just use this later.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No
that
big
makes
deal.
sense.
And by the way, did I mention they're French? They know what wine is. They were one of the people that invent them, the Italians and all the
True.
They've got vineyards.
True.
They've got wine vines. They know what wine is. It's not like, ooh, what is this in the bag, monsieur?
Oh.
It's like it's a bottle of red wine. We bought it from you.
The old wine vines. You're never gonna let me live that one down,
Never.
are you? Oh God.
You mentioned it once.
Once it's forever. Or what the French like to call vineyard. I was like, I'm so sorry.
I love you so much.
I love you.
And so we go there, we get up there, and it's like, hey, can we do this? The guy's like, no, monsieur. I said, what? We can't take the wine up?
It was literally like, oh, that's what's in your bag? This is how they sounded. Except it sounded a little more like this.
They
No.
made me take the wine out. Wine I had just purchased from one of their brethren,
Yes.
and I had to put it in a trash can
That's so bad.
and walk away.
And you know what? To be able to go up, that's what we did.
Yeah.
I mean, look.
We'll sacrifice the wine.
wine is super cheap in France.
Oh,
y'all.
yeah.
Here's
Yeah.
another pro tip. Buy wine in France. Like, it's just, why drink water?
Yeah, buy wine, drink it. The water is just as expensive. So let's go ahead and chug one of these red wine things here.
No, that's a good point though, because you do buy like proper glass bottles of water
Yeah.
in Europe
Yeah.
and in France. Like, so we're in France, we see a lot of those.
Yeah.
They're persnickety about their water, mineral water, they're like whatever. So buy the wine, because I think this was like, I mean, this was a €5 or €6 bottle of wine.
Yeah, and it was good
not
stuff
that
too.
bad.
And it's like, you know what? We can roll with this because give me the grape flavored water and we'll get along fantastically. So we go there now. Okay, so drop off the wine. Fine. We go through security. We're standing
Yeah.
under the tower. It's like, hey, can we get to? There are lines all over the place, just serpentine lines going everywhere. And it's like, no, you really can't go up today.
It was really like when you go to the amusement park and they're like, your wait time from this point
Yeah.
is so long, like 2 hours, 45 minutes, whatever. This one was like, nope. It was like, now that you're in here,
Yeah.
all the wait times have gone from 6 hours to not happening today.
Well, yeah. And,
Yeah.
and also let's talk about the price. And the price
Yeah.
was like, look, we'll pay to go in the Eiffel Tower because that's one reason why we're here.
For sure.
But now you went before and you went years ago, like a decade ago.
I went in 2001.
Okay,
And I
2 days,
found,
yeah.
I saved my old tickets.
Oh my gosh, pack rat.
It was, it's a scrapbook. And it does sound bad. Here, I have a ticket from 2001.
I've got a milk dud from 3 months ago. I'm still going to eat it. What?
Did you find that in the couch or in your beard? Which one? You're going to make fun of me. I'm making fun of you.
They say wine vines one time and suddenly the gloves are off.
Oh,
Okay.
look, a piece of pizza.
I'm never living that down either, am I?
not.
It was in the couch. It's safe.
Oh, geez.
So anyway, what
So
happened
I had
was
a
you went.
scrapbook of my travels.
It was very cool, by the way.
And
I'm
I
making fun.
actually have broken that down and taken stuff out and gotten rid of the stuff that wasn't like pertaining to my life
But
now.
you only keep the cool stuff, and
I've
it's very
kept a few-
streamlined, and it's
yeah.
very, it is nice.
Okay. And so anyway, on June 6th, apparently, in 2001, I went up for 65 French franc, or what we like to call $8.47.
Wow.
And I remember at the time that I was like really torn between going up or not, because I really wanted, I was on this backpacking trip for, I can't even remember how long. It was a month or two or something.
Yeah.
And all over Europe. And I was just on a budget, and I had like $300 to my name
Yeah.
for the entire time I was over there. And it had to pay for my hostels and my food, and everything back then was way cheaper because not everything was on the euro. And so I was able to do it. But when it came down to like this day, and it was towards the end of our trip, I had to literally decide if I was going to eat or go up in the Eiffel Tower.
Wow.
And my boyfriend at the time that I was with, he was like, you really have to go up. We actually we got into a little bit of an argument about it. And I was just like, oh, it's just, I can see it. It's right there. Like, why do I have to go up? And so he was like, no, it would be a really good experience. So I will give him that. I went up and it was fantastic.
Great.
But I wanted to do it over with you proper and with all the enthusiasm that I lacked then, because I was a starving college student that had no money and almost did not go up into the Eiffel Tower, because $8.47 then I could have eaten for 2 days on.
Right.
You know, so it was a big deal.
Yeah, you get some street
Yeah.
food and kebabs and whatever, and you can make that happen
Yeah.
over there. You get a baguette and eat for a day. Seriously.
baguette.
And, you know, that's
And a
some
bottle
cheese
of
and you're
wine.
good. Yeah. Turns out that now it's about $27 to go to the top.
Yes.
So inflation, time passes, it's triple
Yeah.
in price, but it's still, hey, same Eiffel Tower.
Yes.
Life is good.
Beautiful.
So we can't go up.
Yeah.
It's like, you got to be kidding me. We have to leave.
Yeah.
Because now we're just standing under this big, metal monstrosity thing going, we can't go up.
So what are we going to do now?
I guess we're going to leave and, wait, is there a bottle of wine in the trash can? This is an absolutely true story. Absolutely true story. So we leave, and we didn't even realize, like, I guess we'll go. And I think it was, we're like, yeah, and we had to ditch our bottle of wine.
I was hungry. We were hungry too,
Yeah.
because we had only had like breakfast
Not
early.
much, yeah.
Like we had a bunch of sugar basically
Yeah.
and carbs.
So you're sugar crashing now. You're hungry.
Yeah, we walked around the Eiffel Tower and trying to figure out what to do, and it was a little confusing because some lines were like, here's if you already have a ticket, here's if you only want to walk up.
Yeah.
And if you want to walk up, you go big.
Yeah.
I'm not doing it. So like,
taking the elevator.
Yes. And so anyway, like it was confusing. Then you go through security before you even can actually ask for a ticket. Like, it was very confusing. And so by this time you've worked up an appetite.
Yeah.
And so I'm like, let's go get something to eat. Wait, hold on. We could get something to eat, but there's a bottle of wine that we left in a trash can. Like, okay, this sounds really bad, but my brain immediately went to, which one of us is fishing it out?
I got this. I totally got it. Here's what happened. We go back around. Now, the security line has not shortened at all. It's still a long line.
Yes.
However, if you go next the line, and then it's like if you jump over a couple of these little rope dividers, go under a couple of them, and sashay through a couple of little barriers, you can go right to the front of the line. So I'm like, I'm going.
Yes. Everyone is like, yes, he did it. He wins. He got the wine.
So Marie's looking at me like, are you really going? By the time she's still talking, if you're really going, I'm already halfway there. I'm like, it's like Jack Bauer in 24 saying, no, that's where it is. I'm going. It's in the trash can. I go there, take the lid off the trash can, put it down. Now there's a whole bunch of French people and security guards standing right there.
Just watching you.
Just watch me do. Reach down, pull out a bottle of wine victoriously. Put the lid back on, and everyone in line, because these are new line people, they hadn't seen us drop it off.
Oh, right.
They're all like, wait, can we get a bottle of wine like that? Is that where they keep them?
Is that where the endless bottles of wine come
Are
from?
they free?
Oh, my.
I come out holding this over my head.
Rabbit out of a hat.
I could not love a newborn baby more than I love that bottle of wine from the trash can
and
right now.
I could not love you more than I love
I said, we're getting this.
anything else. Yeah. Because I was like, oh my God, I love you so much right now.
We're taking, and by the way, no, there weren't coffee grounds and dead fish heads on it.
No.
It's just stuff. So I'm like,
Yeah.
okay, we're going to do this.
Yeah.
We've got the wine.
We have the
Let's
wine.
get some food.
Yeah.
We find a little shop near there.
La Petite Bourdonnais.
Boom.
And then it was just on one of the little side streets. I mean, look, the Eiffel Tower's in a neighborhood.
It is.
Yeah, so there's like apartments and shops and stuff.
Yeah.
And we just took that, and then we said, what are we going to do? What else can we check off the list that we didn't, have locked in?
What's open that won't have a line, or
Yes.
what's large enough that we can go to and just make it happen?
Yes.
And you said, let's hit that cemetery.
Yeah, Père Lachaise.
Père Lachaise.
I had gone before because, oh man, I grew up listening to all the good music. Jim Morrison,
There you
Janis
go.
Joplin, The Doors. I mean, everything, all the Jimi Hendrix, all the stuff. And so when I had gone before, I loved all of the, everything's built up. It's like a proper cemetery.
Yes.
And it's got like all these statues and just like, it's just amazing. And so I was like, I have to take you.
Yeah. And so we went and we thought, you know what, let's do this. And there's multiple entrances to this place, by the way, because
Yeah.
it's a large cemetery.
It's in the 20th.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's in the 20. And here's the deal.
So we take an Uber.
Yes, we take an Uber. And by the way, there's more than 1 million people interred there.
Yes.
There's more than 1 million.
Woo!
It's bigger than you think. It's like
Yeah.
Paris itself. It's very, very large.
Yeah.
So it's we go, okay, what we did, and we did this the right way, is
Yeah.
that we wound up going to the upper end of it because
Yeah.
it's built on a gradual slope.
It's the entrance near the crematorium.
That's right.
It's on Rue de la Rondeau.
Pro tip.
Yes.
Enter there.
Yes.
Because if you enter there, everything is downhill.
And before when I had gone uphill.
Yeah.
And so you get a good workout. But we had already been walking around all day. So this was very helpful.
Yeah. And
Yeah.
the little iFit watches are going, you're walking more? You're incredibly in shape. And it's like, yeah, you're right. We are. We go there and we think, okay, we're going to go in. And we had wine and sandwiches. And we actually found a little spot in there to eat.
Yeah. There's little benches.
Yeah.
A lot of people come. There's tours there. A lot of people come to see all the beautiful, what are they called? Just the graves.
Yeah. There's graves and there's statues, mausoleum type things. Yeah, crypts.
And it's also, a lot of people walk through there because it's like lovely to like walk through.
Oh, sure.
And so, there's lots of benches and lots of places to pull off. And so we just kind of found a place to park it and got out our sandwiches. And it was a lovely day, and it was Easter Sunday.
It was really nice. And then we thought, okay, now we're going to visit, and they'll give you the maps and you can find like who are the famous people that you were here to see their final resting place.
Yeah.
Oscar Wilde is in the first ones you see when you go in that place. So Oscar Wilde, it's like, let's go see Oscar Wilde's thing. And apparently the experience this time was different from when you had gone years before.
That's the thing, is that it was way more open before. I don't know what it is. But there's reasons. But there were things like the Oscar Wilde statue was encased in plastic.
Yeah, it's like a plexiglass barrier now, like one of those COVID sneeze guards or whatever.
And like before, it was covered in people's kisses.
Yeah.
And so I wanted before, I mean, you give it a little kiss, like, but this time I wanted to leave my lipstick. So I actually brought something, and now you can't do that. It was completely cleaned, and it was surrounded by plexiglass.
Yeah.
And so it was a different experience. I mean, I still appreciate it and it was beautiful.
Right.
But man, it would just have been nice for you to see what I saw back then.
Yeah, suddenly it's been sanitized for your protection.
Yeah.
And it's like, okay, thanks. Yeah. I
Yeah.
mean, if you don't want cooties from this, don't kiss it.
Yeah, true.
You know?
Yeah.
It's a pretty
But they
simple
had
thing.
cleaned it too. I think maybe it's just the place has gotten so popular that it was running the risk of like ruining the statue or whatever.
Sure.
So maybe that's what it was. Another thing was that I had left a beaded necklace and some incense at Jim Morrison's
Grave.
and this time it was completely like not roped off, but
It was like fenced
it was
off. Yeah,
fenced
you couldn't get
off.
near it.
You couldn't go near it at all.
And there were people just,
Yeah.
3 deep around this trying to get that one, hey, I'm here for Jim Morrison. It's like, yeah, so's a lot of other people, but man, that was kind of disappointing too, because
So-
you wanted to get close. Those are the two that you were really looking at
Yeah.
trying to get close to.
I wanted to leave more incense.
Yeah.
I mean, you couldn't leave anything. It was like, so it was a different experience this time.
Other people that are buried at the Père Lachaise. Am I saying that right?
Yeah.
Let's see. You've got Sarah Bernhardt is there. Frederick Chopin. We did see his.
Yeah, that was beautiful. His wasn't roped off or fenced off or anything.
No, you can just go see that. Marceau Marceau, the great
Yeah.
French mime, is there. And
Yeah.
literally a million other people are there.
Yes.
So it's like you get from the experience what
It's
you
beautiful.
want. And even if you're saying, oh, it's a bummer we couldn't put incense or whatever in Jim Morrison's grave, here's the thing. It's still an amazing experience. It's absolutely free to walk in. You just walk in. It's open 24/7.
Yeah.
So you just go on in and say, okay, this is nice. And it's really a peaceful thing right in the middle of Paris.
Yeah.
So we did that. We walked down and we exited at the Rue de Repos.
Yeah, that sounds right.
Okay, sounds good.
Yeah.
So we said, okay, couple other things we're going to do while we're here.
Yes.
Well, we went back to the thing.
We went back to the apartment.
Back to the Airbnb flat.
Yeah.
And then we said, okay, we have one more thing we've got to do tonight.
Now this, I said earlier that we did have an engagement.
Yes.
So this was our engagement. We had a film and a festival.
Yes.
And that was sort of what prompted us to go at this time. Not sort of, it is what prompted us to go at this time. But I knew I was always going to take you to Paris. So when this happened, I was like, no, we're really going to Paris.
Stars have lined up. We're going to Paris. We're doing it now.
Yes. Because then we get to see our film at a proper screening.
Yes, at a film festival.
At a good film festival. Yeah. And it was fantastic.
Yes.
So that night, we had the option of going to see at the place where our film was screening before the festival starts. They said that we could come see a variety show.
Yes.
So that's what we did.
So it's at Theater Le Pic, L-E-P.
Théâtre Le Pic.
Théâtre Le Pic. It's in the 18th.
Yes.
And we go there, and it's the Mixity Drag Cabaret.
It was so fantastic.
Oh, it was fun. And we got the VIP with champagne experience, which just a few bucks more, wasn't it?
It was a few bucks more, and you get in like the front row, you get champagne, and you like oh my God, it was a proper cabaret.
Yes.
And it was a drag show all in one, and it was so hysterical. They had like little bits on like modern stuff that's going on now, and like what am I trying to say?
What, like pop culture references?
Like pop cultural stuff.
Sure.
And like stuff like that. It was so good. It was so fun.
It was fun. And here's the deal. Even though it was delivered in French, we still got a lot of the jokes.
Right.
There are some we did not get.
Yes.
Because it might be like, and they said something about a member of the French Parliament. We don't get that reference.
Sure. Yeah.
But a lot of it was just so over the top stuff we totally got anyway.
It was lots of dancing and singing and just fantasticticness. Oh my God, it was so good.
Now let's point out that this is in the 18th. The 18th is a special part of Paris.
It is.
This is the
Montmartre.
Montmartre.
And I don't even know if I'm saying that right.
Okay.
Because I hear other people say it and they say it and it sounds like Montmartre.
But
And I'm like,
Montmartre, if you
Montmartre.
know what, the Moulin Rouge, which is the big
Yes.
festival that everybody wants to go to, that big show, that's where that is.
Yes.
And this is one of the more artsy, artistic, very
Yes.
cool places of Paris.
It's sort of northeast of Paris proper.
Yeah.
It's on a built up part of the city. So
Mm-hmm.
it's actually raised. It's got like hills. And from what I understand and what we learned, that is why a lot of celebrities or artists have gone there, is because it's harder to like get around to like chase down celebrities and like have a lot of paparazzi, and it's a little more secluded.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it's also it's also better to build like a villa or a house there than say a multi-level 30-story apartment building. It doesn't quite fit there.
Yeah, for sure.
So some of the people who have been there, let's see if you can, if you've heard any of these guys before. Picasso.
Oh my gosh.
Miro.
Yes.
Manet.
Yes.
Renoir.
Yes.
Van Gogh.
Yes.
Toulouse-Lautrec. That's one person.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. Everybody at some point had hung out there and had been artistic there.
Yeah.
So we went, and it's one of those very cool neighborhoods. It has a very good vibe.
Oh, yeah.
If you want to say, I want to go to the French cultural place and just get a feel for like, what did the painters and the artists think? That's where you go.
So good.
That's totally where you go.
Yeah.
So we went.
Yeah.
And it was fun.
It was fantastic.
And then we said, okay, so that was our very full day.
So what we did was we had this engagement, so we couldn't do a whole lot in the area. The one thing that I wanted to do that we didn't get to do was go to the Sacré-Cœur. And that is just this big, like, it's a church and museum, and it's just like really cool. And anyway, we saw the outside of it, but next time we go back, we really need to go.
Absolutely. So we did all that. There was a very full day, and we thought, it's been such a good day, even with all the people here. The next day was when, I don't want to say the wheels fell off the bus, but this was like the stress day where we realized we can't get tickets to anything.
That's true.
And it's like, we might have to change our travel plans.
Yeah. So we already automatically knew there are some things we're not going to get to do while we're here. So the Moulin Rouge, we could not get tickets.
Right.
And so we just kind of just left that out. That'll have to be when we come back. I wanted to see some of the filming locations in the area. And I wanted to find some little, there's like a carousel and like a popular statue of Dalida, who was a famous singer. And like, anyway, so just be aware that when you go to a place, check the calendar, because there were some really iconic things that we wanted to do that we didn't get to do, but that's okay because we did a lot of other stuff.
Yeah. We totally missed some things, but this was I don't want to say the stress day, but this is the day we sort of were realizing that, hey, we're trying to get a ticket for this. Well, you can buy your tickets in advance, but it has to be like 4 days in advance.
Right.
The next 3 days are booked.
Yeah.
And we said, you've got to be kidding me, because we're planning on leaving on a Friday, I think.
Exactly.
And so it's like, we've got to bump this to Saturday because we need that one extra day to cram everything in.
So we ended up taking time just to rearrange our schedules, try and find an extra night.
Yeah.
And stay in our apartment an extra night, and then rebook our flight.
Yes.
That's how important it was just to get in the things that we could get in.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
And so that was the day where it's like,
but you know what?
Yeah.
Audible when you need to.
Yeah.
That's what travel's all about.
Change plans.
Yeah.
And that's why it's always good to go back on a weekend, because it's like, you know what? You go back on a Saturday instead of a Friday. No one at work is going to notice.
Yeah.
You can take the extra day.
Yeah.
So we said, okay, we're going to make these things happen. So that was the entire day, basically. And we finally did book for just one night?
Yeah.
We booked a room at a Hilton on the other side of town.
It was completely on the other side of town, all the way down in the 14th. It was a non-tourist neighborhood, and it was fantastic. I mean, it got us through the night.
Yeah, the Nipsey Paris Hotel, the Curio Collection by Hilton. We went there for one night.
Just one night, and we rebooked our flight.
Yeah. So we rebooked that. We said, okay, now we're committed. We're going to stay here. We're going to make the most of this.
Yeah.
We're going to make the best of this. We had one thing happen this night, which was amazing. This is one of the highlights of the trip. The evening excursion on the Seine River.
Yes.
Highly, highly, highly recommend this.
Yes.
Because here's what happens. This was on my short list. You have a list of all the things you want to do in Paris. And one of my things was, I want to take a cruise on the Seine. I want to take one of these riverboat things.
Give me the deets.
Here are the deets for you, baby. We take an Uber there, and here's the other hero business. I'll make this very short. There's another hero thing of me coming up. Marie thinks she's left her phone in the car in the Uber.
I did.
She's like, so we go down, we're dressed up nice again, not in a suit and tie. We look pretty good.
Yeah.
And so I was like, okay, and now we're going to go on the evening of the Seine. It's romantic. Let me set the stage.
Yeah.
It's romantic. It's beautiful. It's the Seine. Paris is coming to life at night with the lights coming on, everything.
Yeah.
This is starting to look really good.
Yeah.
And Marie's like, I left my phone in the Uber.
I thought I did. Because part of our tickets were on the phone.
I'm sprinting after the car. I'm
You hauled,
and
man.
I caught that car
You did.
in traffic,
Oh, God.
running at a dead sprint. It's like, I've run cross country before. I'm on it. I'm gone. I go catch it.
I feel so bad.
And the guy's like, Zoot the Lord, no phone, no phone. I'm like, okay. I look back and Marie's waving her phone in the air.
I got it in my hand.
It was in my hand the whole time. I'm like, you've got to be
I'm sorry.
I'm winded.
I love you.
Let's get on the boat.
Maybe.
We get on the boat. We get on the boat, and now we're leaving basically near the Eiffel Tower.
Yes.
That's the point of embarkation and debark. That's where you get on and off the boat.
Yeah, it's the river. It's the Seine. It's between the Trocadero and the Eiffel Tower.
Yep.
And you just walk down.
And you said, let's get the premier dinner river cruise.
Yes.
Which basically includes this. You get a table. And by the way, this kicked off at 8:30 at night. It's important to remember this is evening now.
Yeah.
It's 8:30 at night. It's a 2-hour cruise.
Yeah.
The premier dinner gets you a table at the front of the boat.
Yes.
A bottle of champagne.
Yeah.
An entire 5-course dinner with all the wine you can possibly drink.
Ooh, I
all
like
the
it.
wine.
Which way is the bar?
They bring the bar to you. You're seeing this like, monsieur, would you like more of the red wine? It's like, you got red and white? Just keep them coming, garçon. Let's see how this works out for us.
Yes.
So they did. There's a coffee and a tea service with dessert. There's a full bar you can order from. We just went champagne and wine the whole time.
Yep.
You get on the boat. It goes up the Seine. It turns around at Notre Dame. You go past the Louvre, the Musée d'Orsay, the Place de Concorde, the Eiffel Tower,
All
everything.
the things. You get to see all the
stuff.
things.
And my French pronunciation got worse and worse as it happened. By the way, let me point something out. Because of the time zone difference,
Yeah.
I actually got a call from the place where we work.
Oh, yeah.
Do you remember
true.
this?
I do remember this.
I'm on the phone, and I got a text message. It's the boss, and he goes, "Hey, I need to talk to you real quick."
Oh, my God.
And I said, "Yeah, okay."
When you're 3 sheets to the wind, anybody could call and you're like, I'll take it.
I'm 2 bottles of wine. And sure, I'll talk about my car warranty. What do you want to know there? I'll take a phone call. I had the most lucid and perfectly enunciated conversation of my life on the phone.
Yep.
And they never knew we were in Paris at the time. Well,
Nope.
wait, they did know we were at the film festival, that was
Sure.
going to happen, but they didn't know precisely that we were there.
They didn't know we were having fun.
Yes,
On a river cruise, a dinner river cruise,
I totally maintained.
and you totally maintained.
It was great.
I'm so proud of you.
I'm so proud of you.
Aw.
But this is one of those things that if you get the opportunity to go on a riverboat cruise, take the evening cruise, get the dinner cruise or whatever, it was one of those moments that's like, this was just truly, truly a great experience for me.
So this was Port Bourdonnais.
Okay, yeah.
And so I think that was the name of the company. I'm not sure. But that's where it left from. And yeah, it was everything you would ever dream of in a river cruise. And when I was younger and went, I wanted to do that, and we couldn't because number one, we were not dressed right. We were dressed like backpackers. And number two, we were broke. This stuff's expensive.
Yeah.
Like it was look, I saved up so that we could do something like this nice and proper.
Right.
Because like we've talked about before on our episodes, you find the 1 or 2 things that you're like, I'm going to drop some money on this.
I'm going to drop some money on this.
Yeah.
You know, lunch today is going to be a baguette with cheese, so it's going to be $3 American.
Right.
No big deal. But something like this, we're going to spend. So that's the thing. Is like when you go on vacation, you want to have those memories of like, here's the 1 or 2 or 3 amazingly, I don't want to say expensive, but the things that you budget for.
Yeah, exactly.
And the other stuff is, hey, you know, we're going to get the doner kebabs, going to get the ramen noodles, going to get whatever. We're going to get street food. It's going to be $5 and that includes a Coke.
Yeah.
You're okay.
Yeah.
So that's how we sort of look at these. Is like, what are the experiences that we can have?
Yeah.
And we said, this is one of the experiences that we both really, really wanted.
Yeah, yeah.
This leads us to the one bad part.
Okay, and I'm glad we're ending this one with this because, you've got to be honest and transparent about your experience when you're talking about travel.
Yes.
And so we do want to talk about this, but I don't want this to hinder the excitement and enthusiasm we had for everything else that we did.
Right.
Yeah. So anyway, let's end this part 1 with this bad experience so that when we pick up part 2, it'll be like, oh yeah, and here's all the other good stuff.
Yeah, because part 2 of this little series is amazing.
Yeah.
Here's what happened is that in part 1, we had to get an Uber back to the Airbnb.
After the cruise.
And
So we got there at like 8:30 because we wanted to
8:30,
see
it's a 2-hour cruise.
Yeah, and we wanted to see the Eiffel Tower at night.
So
Yeah.
10:30, so it's pushing 11 o'clock by the time we're actually looking for the Uber.
Right.
We get an Uber, and this is booked in your name.
Yes.
The driver we had was a bit of a problem.
Okay. So I know that there have been some complaints with rideshare companies because, especially if you appear to be like a single female, they tell you to really watch who you get in a car with, make sure they have the Lyft and the Uber stickers and that they are a registered Lyft and Uber person and they match what's in your app.
Yes.
Because some things have happened.
Yes.
And so, we follow all the rules. We look out for everything. But this is the first time I've encountered this. Now we have gotten an Uber and had an experience where I believe I was preyed on as a tourist.
Yeah.
This has never happened to me before. And I'm hoping it never happens again. But I believe that I came up in the app as a female.
Right.
And I was in a part of town where there were touristy things.
Yeah, because you're leaving the Eiffel Tower area basically at night.
Yeah, at 11. And I'm going to call him out on it too, because I have his name. So if you're in Paris, do not ride with Brahim if you're there visiting.
Yes.
Because it was a horrible experience.
Yeah. Basically, it's like her name comes up on the Uber. Brahim pulls in. And as soon as we go walking, like he sees me too, his whole demeanor changes.
Yep.
He's like, suddenly there's a dude with her.
Right. And we had taken, because like I was saying before, in Europe and a lot of places, but so we're in France, so we're in Paris. You get bottles of water.
Yeah.
And the bottles are proper glass bottles of water.
Yeah.
And so on the cruise, they give you, when you're not drinking the wine, they give you your water, but they leave the glass bottle. They had opened one for us and we had not drank it.
Right.
So we wanted to take it with us to take it back to the room.
Yeah, because we got a fridge back at the Airbnb and all that stuff. So we're totally going to do this.
And it's nice water.
Yeah.
It's like beautifully tasting mineral
it's good
water.
French water. We're going to take it with us. Okay, no big deal.
So anyway, his demeanor changes when he sees you. And then we get in the car and he says, he drives for about 2 minutes.
Yes.
And then he starts saying, you hit my car with that bottle of whatever he was calling it. I couldn't tell it was French.
Right.
It wasn't, I think he was trying to accuse us of having alcohol in the car.
Yeah.
Because he was saying something and he was like, you hit my car. You hit my car.
Yeah, you hit my car at the bottle and
and we were like, no, we didn't.
No, we didn't.
And he was like, yeah, you did. And I was like, stop, pull over.
Pull over, show us.
Yeah. So he pulls over and he's like, no, it's okay. But he's still pulling over. And I'm like, get out and show me.
Yeah.
So I get my phone out and I start recording. And then he starts cussing me out.
Yes.
And so I'm like, no, keep cussing. I have my phone.
Right.
And so he's like, get back. He's like, no, not a problem. Get back in the car. Get back in the car. And I'm like, no, I'm not getting back in the car. And so there was no damage. There was nothing he could show us. He starts cussing us out. We won't get back in the car. So he speeds off.
Yes.
So we get a second Uber.
Right.
And we get back home.
Yes.
And here's where it gets interesting. I immediately email Uber and I'm like, here is what happened.
Yes.
Here is the video.
Yes.
Here is what happened. They write me back and he has complained to Uber about us.
Yeah.
And he has said that we were drunk and drinking in his car. And I mean, we had some drinks. We were on a river cruise, but it was not about that. He was upset that I was with a man and that there was a second person there. He wanted to prey on me as a tourist to either overcharge me or who knows what.
Yeah.
Or to say that I damaged his car. It was definitely a prey upon situation.
Yeah. And here's the thing, as far as
Brahim, nobody should ride with you.
Well, here's the thing is that it's like, yes, we had the wine and all that stuff. It's like, you ever see us with wine? We pretty much act like we're acting right now.
I know, that's true.
We actually like, hey, this is a good time. And it's like, that's pretty much it.
Yeah.
There's no on-off thing where it's like, oh my gosh, we're one of those people.
We're drunk right now. No.
Yeah, we've done that on the show before.
Well, we did have the Paris one where we had the proper wine.
Yeah.
When we went to the wine vines.
Yeah. Go back and watch that one about the truffles. And you know what? That was us.
I said the Paris one. I meant the France one. Yeah.
But that's exactly what it is. So it's like, no. And it's like, you damaged the car. You did. It's like, I was
Nope.
like, okay, show us. If we did, I'd be horrified. I'd take care of it.
I have it on video. There's nothing wrong with your car. And he got so upset.
Yeah.
And I was just like, this is so south. This went south fast.
Not cool. So we said.
So Uber did charge me, by the way.
Yeah.
They charged me for the 4 minutes that it was 2 driving and the 2 pulled over.
Yeah.
Arguing about and I'm just like, go ahead, Uber.
Go
they
ahead.
were like, we'll look into this. Anyway, I canceled my Uber account.
You are no longer on Uber because of this.
I will not use Uber because of this.
Yeah.
I will use Lyft.
Yeah.
And if we're in a country that only uses Uber, we go through you now.
Yeah, we go through me. But
Yeah.
it's like, so Maria's like, so thanks, Uber. Nicely done.
Oh my God.
Your batting average was good, but that totally soured it for us.
Yeah, for sure.
So even after all these things have happened.
Yes.
And we say, you know what? We've had good times. We've had emotional highs and emotional lows.
Yes.
All these things have happened. But you know what? At some point, you just have to go, we've gone through this vacation. We've gone through all the trials and tribulations, the Sturm und Drang of all the things that can happen to you in a foreign country.
Yes.
We really need to be able to just say, you know what? We will never fight again. We will never disagree. You are so wrong. This is what happens in this part of the show. We call it Monica versus Joey.
It's game on. It's time for Monica versus Joey.
Now, I'll tell you what, for this one, how about if I be Joey and you be Monica, okay?
Okay, let's do it.
I'll make this real simple because we're in Paris, and Paris has not just all sorts of regular street-level food and moderate food. They have Michelin-starred restaurants food.
Ooh, fancy.
Yes.
I want some good foie gras.
So if we say, okay, we're going to have something like that,
Yeah.
here's the question. How important is it to go to a fancy French restaurant? Now, you be Monica in this situation. I'll be
Yes.
Joey. I'll start off by Joey.
Okay, what say you?
I'm good with doner kebabs everywhere I go all the time.
You are. In fact, I get so mad at you sometimes.
You do, but-
Because I'm like, I cannot eat a doner kebab every day.
And I can. And love makes the world go round. But we've had more than one conversation.
Yeah.
And so now it's basically, the way it has worked out now is that we've decided whenever we go internationally someplace, I get my one doner kebab day.
Yeah.
I'm going to get a doner kebab because that's like my favorite food.
I love helping you do that,
Yeah.
actually, because it gives you such joy.
Yeah, it does. And so like the Floria restaurant I went to this time, I was
Yeah.
like, absolutely, it's just going to work out.
Yeah.
So I'm good with that. You, however, it would be nice to go to a Michelin place because we don't have Michelin places in Murfreesboro, Tennessee, just laying around. And going to a place that is run by a noted French chef would be something good for you.
Now I'll play this for me now.
You're not fat. You're well-rounded.
Oh, honey, I love you.
I have to say I'm a foodie. Food is my love language.
Yeah.
So like, I'm just saying, I like to have something proper and amazing that I've never gotten before.
Yeah.
And I will drop some cash.
Yeah.
And make it rain on a really proper, like 5-star meal.
Yes.
Like, because I don't know, there's just an experience in that.
There is. And when you come back and, years
Yeah.
later be like, oh, you remember when we went to that place that was this?
Yes.
You fill in the blanks or something like that.
Yeah.
I can appreciate that.
Yeah.
And here's the deal. It was not for lack of trying.
Yeah.
Because there are a whole bunch of Michelin restaurants within our area. There's one, Ferdi, in our neighborhood.
Yeah, it was in our neighborhood. I wanted to go to it just because I had read a lot about it. And it's got, they're in a few major European cities, but it's got like they have some churros that have been really well talked about on Insta and on Yelp, and I got kind of was like, oh, it's in our neighborhood, because I started looking at our neighborhood restaurants,
Right.
And when I Google places and I'm like, oh my God, people around the world are talking about these churros. I'm like,
Yeah.
that's a thing, and they just seem to have lovely, like really nice dishes. And then I wanted to take you to the one fancy restaurant that I ate at
Yes.
before when I was in France in 2001, and it was Bistro de la Place.
Yeah.
And so we couldn't get a reservation. Again, everyone in France was on vacation. So I just was like, okay, well, I guess we'll do a fancy restaurant next time.
Yeah.
Which is fine.
So it's okay, but we will get the Michelin 5-star restaurant or 3 or 2 or how many stars there are in these things. And until then, if it's a doner kebab you seek, I'm the guy to follow because I can find them
Yes.
every single time.
Yes.
Now, as we're finding restaurants and finding other good things, we always say, you know what? There are certain little insights of our travel experiences we want to give you, want to pass along. And we call these the little travel nuggets. I think it's time right now to tell you what the nugget is for Paris, France.
Ooh, I like a good travel nugget.
Travel nuggets. And this is something that's applicable to so many different flights.
Yes.
Because to go to Paris, if you're in America, by the way, you're taking a plane. You could take a boat, but you're going to take a plane,
Yeah.
99 times out of 100. Turns out that getting comfy-wumpy on international flights, we've alluded to this already.
Yeah.
A couple of little tips here. Number 1, order the food preference. Get the Asian
Yes.
food, get whatever kind of food they have, so you don't get stuck with pasta or chicken, or God forbid, the back of the plane, they're down to just salad, okay?
Yes.
Just don't
do it.
If I paid this much for a flight on any level, first class down to economy, down to, steerage, I don't care. I'm not living off of salad greens.
Right. That's true.
No, really? I avoid salad at home. Now I have to avoid it in midair over the Atlantic?
Oh my God, stop it.
It's so unfair. No. Not going to do that. Number 2, we like this phantom seat trick that we've pulled. And sometimes
the
it
old
works.
phantom seat trick.
Sometimes it doesn't work, but sometimes it does work.
Yeah.
It just depends on the plane. Where if there's 3 seats in a row, and these can be in the middle of the plane or on the side of the plane. If there's 3 seats in the row, I love this idea. And this is actually one of yours.
Yeah.
Where you book let's say that you're in, let's say you're against the side.
Yeah.
And so it's like a window seat, a middle seat, and an aisle seat.
Yeah.
You taught me this. One of us books the window, one of us books the aisle.
And then hopefully no one books the middle.
Because no one wants the middle seat.
Right, that's true.
So
unless the flight is sold out.
If the flight is sold out,
yeah,
then it's like, okay, we'll try. And here's the deal. That person, if they get the middle seat, it's like, if push comes to shove, they will always trade for window or aisle.
Right.
No one wants the middle. So it's like, okay, if someone comes up, some guy named Bob, hey, Bob. And he's like, I'm in the middle. It's like, okay, we're together. Would you rather have the aisle or the window? And we'll give you either one.
Right.
It's fine. And we're actually really good at travel next to.
Yeah.
So it's like, okay, that's one. And tip number 3, you get a 3 for here. Take your headphones with you.
Yes, please.
It takes so long to load an international flight.
Yes.
By the time you sit down to the time you're taxiing and leaving the air.
Yes.
It's like 40 minutes, guys.
Yes.
It really is. Why don't you watch 40 minutes of movie or 2 episodes of The Office?
I mean, there might be like a few minutes when you get on.
Yeah.
That like especially if you board towards like the first groups that are boarding.
Right.
Like that they might not have the movies and everything. What's it called? Just the studio. Like on Delta, it's Delta Studio.
Yeah, Delta In-Flight Studio something.
Yeah, that they might not have it ready yet.
Yeah.
But generally it comes on soon.
Yeah.
And you can sit there and punch on the screen and play games or like watch a movie or whatever. Bring your headphones because then you can start your movie.
Yeah.
And then everybody else is boarding and you're like in your own little world watching your own little movie.
Yeah, and I'm sitting there going, oh, this is absolutely wonderful. And I can watch the 19 Harry Potter movies from the 7 books that they wrote. Or what, I've never seen them, never have. But, but it's nice you can actually get into the travel zone.
Right.
You do it a little bit early.
Right.
Hey, you know what? Those are the nuggets. But before we end our spectacular, award-winning, and brilliant program, as always, we always want to tell you that when we do our voluminous research for going to any place like, say, Paris, France, we actually stumble across little things that are like, is this actually a thing? And we call these, of course, the guacamoles.
What the holy guacamole are you talking about?
I'm talking about something you look at and go, you've got to be kidding. And it turns out, of all things, this is Delta Airlines.
Oh, here we go.
Who we know and love. We're always on Delta. Recently, there is a trip from Michigan to Minnesota. If you're not hip geographically with the United States, Michigan and Minnesota, they're not really far apart.
Yeah,
You're not flying New York to LA. I mean, I think these things border each other. It's not a big deal.
Right.
Michigan to Minnesota, they're both up in the upper Midwest. And it turns out that there was a guy, he was a tech columnist who wrote this, who hipped everybody to this, because he works for Inc. magazine. His name is Jason Aten, A-T-E-N. He wrote that he's on this flight with his family. A flight attendant comes on and says, we need volunteers to hop off this plane and we'll compensate you. They're seeking 8 volunteers. The offer began at $5,000. We're going to bump you off this plane, put you on the next flight, and we'll give you $5,000 for your trouble.
You have literally got to be kidding me.
5,000. Hang on.
I can't even.
No. They couldn't get enough volunteers.
Oh my God.
It goes up to 6,000.
Oh my God.
No. $10,000.
Stop it. I can't.
You could buy a car and drive from Michigan to Minnesota.
I literally cannot.
$10,000. It begs the question, if you're going Minnesota to Michigan or vice versa, whatever, they're right up there. They're next to each other.
Yeah.
It's like going Kansas to Missouri. Big deal. It's right there.
Right.
Would you bail out for $5,000?
Oh my God, yes. You don't even have to get to 10.
I'd bail out for $500.
I'm like, dude.
Get me on the next flight. Give me $1,000. We're golden.
You can buy me cheap. I'm like, oh my God. Like, okay, but it does actually then beg another question.
Yes.
How long do you hold out for?
Yeah.
Because if they're just going to keep going up, then you might as well wait.
Well, my question is, the guy who bailed for $5,000, then like 5 minutes later, it's like it's $10,000. Does he get to go back and go, no, I want $10,000 now?
Right.
Oh man, this is like the ultimate bluff of poker that I've ever seen in my life.
This reminds me of like, there was this one time that, I don't remember what airline it was, but they had overbooked a flight during football season.
Oh yeah.
And there was like college football family and no one would get off the flight.
Right.
And finally at like whatever, I think it was like $2,000 or something.
Yeah.
They all were finally like, yes, you can have I think it was like a mom, dad, and 2 kids.
Yeah.
They were like, sure, we'll do it for $2,000. Oh my God, if they would have held out, maybe it would have gone to 10.
$10,000. I'm just like, look, if you throw a couple thousand, you just paid for my vacation. You really did. Sorry we didn't make that flight, but that's one of those holy guacamole things.
Yeah.
Hey, we're going to wrap this up, but our next episode is part 2 of our Paris vacation, where we're hitting other sights and sounds and tastes and aromas.
Oh, I love it so much.
It's going to be so good. So, hey, thanks as always. If you just stop here and then pick up the next episode in advance, that's fine. Thanks for checking out Voca Vacay. We're on all the social media.
Yes.
We're on the YouTubes. You watch us on YouTube, see what we look like. Oh, that's fun. And as always, remember to, hey, live vicariously through yourself and vacation
like it's your job.
like it's your job. Hey, we'll catch you on the next time.
Yes.
That's Marie over there.
That's Frank.
We'll see you next time. Love ya. Miss ya. Mean it. Bye.
Don't forget to click subscribe. As always, hashtag Voca Vacay at Voca Vacay and visit VocaVacay.com.